Hi, third graders. So today, if you were absent, we were making Aztec Suns, which is an ancient civilization that lived in the area of like Central America and Mexico. Um, you're going to need your model magic, a pair of scissors to open up the packet, as well as these colors. If you don't have all these colors, just try to get what you have, okay? But we are going to stick primarily to the warm colors because that's the colors of the sun. So, first step, go ahead and open up your baggie. Save your Ziploc bag. Save this bag because today all we're going to do is colorize the clay, so we need to put it back in the bag so it doesn't dry out. I'm going to set it off to the side though so that I don't lose my Ziploc bag. Alright, Model Magic. Go ahead and take your pair of scissors, and I'm just going to snip the top off, and then it makes it really easy to peel down the middle of the wrapper then, like that. Go ahead and take the clay out. You no longer need this wrapper, so I'm just going to fold it up and toss it in the trash. You won't need your scissors anymore, so you can put those away as well. Alright, Model Magic is not like regular clay. It's kind of like a man-made clay. So it's more stretchy than regular clay would be. And this also dries in the air and makes it hard if you leave it out to dry. So that's why we need our baggie. But for right now, let's go ahead and stretch out the clay, warm it up so it's much easier to use. So I'm just kind of like stretching it out and ripping it and stretching it, and that will get it nice and warmed up. Decide what you want your main base color of your sun to be. I particularly would prefer like one of the lighter colors like yellow or orange. But if you wanted red, that's fine. Red kind of turns out more pinkish though. I would not use brown as your base color because brown is rather dark and it's the opposite of a light color for the sun. We'll use the brown for all the details. Alright, so my clay is warmed up. I'm going to kind of stretch it and flatten it on my table. And I'm going to take one of my lighter colors, either yellow or orange. And you're just going to take the cap off, and you're just going to do a whole bunch of dots on the clay, like so. And what this does is it adds color to the clay. But this doesn't really look like a sun, does it? Sun colors are more evenly colored. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll this up, roll it up, like that. The color's trapped inside, but I need to mix it, so I'm going to squeeze it and stretch it. Squeeze it and stretch it. And you'll notice as you squeeze it and stretch it that the color starts mixing in with the clay. Now my clay is really, really light. I want it kind of brighter orange, so I'm going to add more orange to this. Or if you did yellow, add more yellow to yours. And you're just going to repeat this step until you get the shade of orange or the shade of yellow that you want. If there are any swirls, like if you look at mine, there's like some areas are darker than others. That means that you haven't mixed it up good enough. Mix it up really, really well. And I'm actually going to do this a little faster. If you need to repeat it, repeat this step as many times until you get the shade that you want. I'm working kind of fast. You don't need to be perfect at this step. Dots and stretch and fold. Dots and stretch and fold. And then stop when you finally get to the desired shade of orange or yellow that you want. If you want it even brighter, then keep on going. If you want it lighter, then just leave it how it is. Up to you. I personally like to make mine more of like a sunset-y looking sun. So that's why I'm adding more orange to mine. Once your clay is fully mixed, 100% how that's fully mixed, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the clay and I'm going to rip it in half. Rip it in half. One half is going to be for the main part of the sun, and then the other part is for all of the other facial features and the rays of the sun and so forth. So I'm going to take one of these, and already I'm going to put that in the baggie so it's out of the way. Then, so this was my main color, orange. I'm going to set that aside. Decide which color you want to add to your other piece. So, if you use yellow, it makes it more of a brighter color. If you make it reddish, it will give it more of a darker color. Brown gives it more of like an earthy tone to it. So decide which of these that you want. I personally want to go, I'll go more sunset-y color, so I'm going to use red. So again, one of the halves is already in the bag. And now I'm going to use this color to make this one, the other half, darker. And that's basically all that we did in class today. So this, I was telling your class, it's a pretty good activity to do while you're watching TV, pretty mindless. So make sure that your two halves of the clay are colored to the shade that you want it, and have it ready to go for the next art class, which will be on Friday, okay? So already you can kind of see a little bit. This is a little bit darker already from this one, but I have a ways to go. Just to give you an idea, here is the clay that I made when I was in class. So these are much brighter than these ones. So if you want to get darker, just add more ink to it. And again, it's up to you. It's up to you how bright each of your halves of clay are. When you're done and ready to go, and you're like, you know what, Mr. Blair, these two halves are the shade that I want them, then you can stick the second half in the baggie when you're done and separate them. See how they're separated? If they touch in the bag, then they're going to stick to one another. So I'm leaving like a little bit of a gap in between, and I'm squeezing out the air so that it doesn't dry and harden inside the bag, and then zip up the bag. So voila, boys and girls, that's basically what we did in art class today. So if you missed it, hopefully these instructions will help you out. And again, just bring your art project with you to class on Friday.